Oh, how did Cardiff City beat Bristol City? Well, last season they did it twice, including Perry NG's winner at Ashton Gate. So if ever they needed a team to pop up on their fixture list, it is the Robins. Welcome to another edition of Where Bluebirds Work. We've got James and Lee to discuss just what happened at Hull as well. And we've got Liam, our Bristol City fan, ready to preview the 102nd version of the Severnside Derby. Welcome to Where Bluebirds Walk. Welcome back, James, and welcome, Lee, and thank you all very much for watching. Please do drop us a subscribe. We are a new channel, and we need all your help to make sure that we are the quickest and most comprehensive review of all things Cardiff City on the internet. Press subscribe right now. Thank you so much. Right, James, we're going to get into the whole result a little bit later on, but we're going to focus on this Sunday's game at Ashton Gate. You don't like Bristol City very much, do you, James?
Not really, but they've it's been a good fixture for us over the last season or so. Picking up maximum points, I think it's four wins in a row. I wouldn't mind making that 5 on Sunday. And if there's ever a time we need to win, it's definitely this weekend.
Yeah, one of your favourite grounds to play at is Ashton Gate, isn't it? I think it's four out of the last 7 wins. Lee, what is it about this fixture, do you think, that brings out the best in the players and fans?
Well, it's just the passion of the derby, isn't it? As much as we think of the guys to the west, it's the guys to the east as well that we think about. I mean, we always want a result and we want to play up and, we want to do our best against our local rivals.
Liam, welcome to Where Bluebirds Walk as a Bristol City fan. Talk to me about how Cardiff are viewed. I mean, obviously there's Bristol Rovers, but is there hatred for Cardiff on similar lines, given that you've played each other more often than you have Rovers?
Yeah, I think the English-Welsh thing comes into it quite a bit as well. But yeah, I have not played Rovers for quite a while. Cardiff's always the one we look for when the fixtures come out, definitely.
And yeah, say 102 times you've met. Why don't Bristol City do very well in this fixture, Liam?
I can't put a finger on it. I think it comes down to toughness of it. I suppose they make it hard to play against. They're quite physical. They're usually quite a physical side. Again, predominantly we don't do very well against sides that are quite physical. So I think that plays a big part in it.
What's it like as an away fan, James and Lee, at these games? Obviously, there's a bigger police presence. Is there tends to be any trouble, or is it all nice and calm?
So to be fair, I was there last season. I walked from where the coaches parked and up towards the ground, and there was no trouble really. Obviously, going outside of the ground after the game, a few of the Bristol City fans were already in their cars. Perry NG had scored the winner by then, so we were walking back to the coaches. But overall, no, it was not massive trouble really.
Okay. We want to ask you a little quiz for you. 3 players on the screen that have played for both Cardiff and Bristol City. We'll give you the answers at the end. PW, TM, and TD. And we'll see if any of this lot can grab that. All right, then. In terms of the game then this weekend, James, let's have a look at the team that you played last season. As you mentioned, it was Perry NG with the goal. Lee, I'll come to you first on this one. Looking at this Cardiff side that beat Bristol City last year, is this stronger or weaker than the current side? And if so, in which departments?
Well, as you've seen from our start of this season, our back line has not been strong at all. We've lost Phillips there. He's no longer with us. We were just so much stronger last season, and some of the goals, and me personally, I think that Perry and G hasn't made that mark this season, his usual self, but I don't think many Cardiff players so far this season have. But yeah, it's the defensive line for me that's been struggling.
James, you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Nat Phillips has been a huge loss for us, this season. We haven't had a structured centre-back pairing. To be honest, there's obviously Gutas has spent a lot of time on the bench, and Darland has sort of been in and out of the team alongside Chambers as well. And also as well, our left back position as well, Wilson Esbrand last season gave us a lot of pace up and down that side, and sort of defensively, especially on the wings this season at the moment, we haven't been as well sort of balanced there, just because obviously Perry NG is not really offered as much as he sort of had last season as well.
Okay. Liam, how do they go about beating you then? Where are Bristol City's weaknesses?
I think set pieces. I think if they spend 90 minutes trying to get corners, I think they'll end up scoring 2 or 3 of them. Seems to be our Achilles heel today. Swansea just now. Their goals from a set. Yeah, okay, you can say O'Leary was fouled for it, but yeah, it's another set piece that we keep conceding from. So if anything, I'd be playing for corners.
Okay. In terms of manager updates, James, we spoke last week about hopefully having one in for Hull. Do we hope that might be news on something for the time this game rolls around on the Sunday? We know you've got a game against Millwall, which we are recording that before this, but what's the latest?
So I think it's going to be more sort of within the international break window, which is probably going to be expected. Obviously it's very vital that we get this next appointment right now. And yeah, I think sort of give Omer Riza sort of this game now on Tuesday against Millwall, and then the Bristol game, and then the Plymouth game, and then we go into the international break looking hopefully for our new manager there.
Okay. All right, then let's get some score predictions from you. Lee, you can go first.
Yeah, so obviously we're conceding at the moment, and as Liam said, set pieces could be of him, but we aren't scoring, and we aren't as good as set pieces this year. In all honesty, I'd take a 1-1.
Okay. Some Bristol City up and down, aren't they, Liam? This season, probably the most inconsistent side of the 24. I can't predict your results. Can I ask you to have a go at this one?
I think with the occasion, I think it's going to be quite a tough game. I'd be happy with snatching it 2-1. Yeah.
Okay, and James?
I'm going to agree with Lee, to be honest. I see this going as a 1-1 draw, to be fair.
Okay, all right then. Any ideas on the players then we mentioned before? Any of you? Shout them out. PW?
Yeah, Nicky Maynard.
Yeah.
Nicky Maynard you've got? Yeah, well done, Nicky Maynard. Yeah. Any others?
Not that I can think of.
Put them in the chat if you've got them. TD?
I'm going to take my tick for Nicky Maynard, so I'm up.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Tommy Doherty played for Bristol City before moving to Cardiff. And PW? You might not get this because it was only a brief loan spell. This is, of course, that's right. Yeah, Peter Whittingham, the late great.
I did think in my head Peter Whittingham, but I weren't too sure if it was just one of them things I dreamed.
Yeah.
It was
very brief, wasn't it, Liam? I think, wasn't it?
We've had a few like that. Okay.
Right, Liam, we will let you go. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the game
very much.
this Sunday, as feisty as it will be. And for you two, let's have a look at what went wrong at Hull. Yes, so Bluebird John says, today we look better, getting the ball forward but still woeful at the back. Riza needs help if he's staying in charge. And Sharpie saw a lot of positives, slight adjustments, and we will climb the league very quickly. We were unlucky today, boys. It's not often you see a 4-1 defeat being described as unlucky, but Lee, for you, were they unlucky?
From what I've seen, it seems that the first half, especially, as I said there, we're a lot better going forward. But again, the defending, anything with pace against us just seems to be an issue. Pace going forward for us ourselves and pace against us. It's just, and you've seen some of their goals that they put away up on the break, and it's the same thing week in, week out.
The comments there saying, James, you are actually getting the ball forward. So this is progress because me and you've spoken for many weeks about the fact that there isn't anything going forward. So shall we take the positives on that?
I mean, you can. Personally, for myself, not really, just because I think, lost the game 4-1. I don't think it could get any worse than the sort of first 5-6 games anyway. And to be honest, the quicker we get a manager in with a strategy and a plan, the better. Because, like I say, this next appointment needs to be right. Otherwise, we are going to be in a big battle this season towards the bottom end of the table.
There is some criticism saying, well, shouldn't we look at the games you've got? These are all winnable games. You've got Millwall at home is winnable, Bristol City away is winnable, Plymouth is winnable, and yet here you are just going to coast on for another 3 games, and wait until the international break when you've got some tougher fixtures. So why are we waiting, Lee?
Well, there was a meeting this week with the board, and their process at the moment is very stats. It sounds like it's not going to be rushed. They've actually said it's not going to be rushed. They want to give Riza a chance, which, it seems to be our mantra over the last couple of sackings. So, me personally, I think we should get someone in as soon as possible. We can't be losing any more points, but it's up to the board.
Okay. I want to ask you, James, about defensive midfielders as well. This is our latest review of where we're up to in terms of your team. This is what transfermarket.com say you have. I mean, I know some others will play in that position, but who do you see as your go-to 2 holding midfielders as the best on the list?
To be honest, if you look at it on paper, I'd probably say Alex Robertson and Joe Rolls. I do like Siopis. Big fan of him in his first season last season, but he's really gone off the boil this season. Obviously, I don't know how much that is down to sort of, in the bullet. We might see quite an improvement under the next manager, but on sort of how we're looking at it now, Alex Robertson and Joe Rolls for me.
What about you, Lee?
So I think if you look at our record last season, we didn't win a game without Joe Rolls. As much as he isn't the player he was, he's still integral to our midfield. So yeah, I'd agree. Robertson and Rolls.
Okay. All right. To drop your comments below. Who are your 2? Last question for you. We are now into October, so it's September Player of the Month. I can see the looks on your faces to ask the team that haven't won a game yet to pick the Player of the Month. You can't. You could pick the fans. You could pick it. You could easily take that. But
I'll say Callum Robinson, because he's the only one that's actually scored goals for us this season in the league. One against Swansea and one obviously against Hull. So yes, easiest, and also he's 1 goal of the month. So yeah,
it's not laughable, is it? Because this is a great club potentially going to League One. But Lee,
I've seen Bartley, the Bluebird, on the pitch a couple of times, and he's probably looked the most mobile, to be honest. No, but in all seriousness, it's going to have to be Callum Robinson. I'm afraid he's the person putting the goals in for us. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Any other shouts, we'd love to hear them. Drop them in the comments below. And as we've asked you before, this will be available on Spotify for you to listen to on the way back to work. Thank you so much for watching every week. We know that it's so hard to start up new content on the internet, especially around Cardiff. Please drop us a subscribe. We want all the love you can give us. Thank you, James. Thank you, Lee. We'll see you next week after the Bristol City game, and have a look back on how you've gotten against Millwall as well. Have a great week. 6 points in the bag. Let's do it.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
See you next week.